Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to You and Your Health. We're excited to have you join our program this evening. My name is Erika Roberts Hilton, a co-host of this program, and my other co-host is Dr. Edward Isuman. Hi, Dr. Eddie.
Hi, Iroquois. It's been a long time.
It's been a very, very long time. It's been a long time. I know both of us had some projects happening, and so we
It's
weren't able to be on here, but we're excited to be back and hopefully have some programs for our viewers that will be helpful to them and their family as well. Do you want me to tell them about our exciting news right now, or
Yeah, tell them.
tell them? Okay, so we have another co-host that will be joining us. We're excited that Dr. Yvonne Pulampu Dove has accepted a little role to be part of our team. Dr. Dove is a biomedical scientist and a researcher and a colleague of ours from the National Institute of Health. So we're extremely excited that she'll be joining as a co-host of the program as well. I think her knowledge and expertise in health science will certainly be a great asset for this program. And so we're delighted that she agreed to be part of the team. I think she's going to be with us next time, right, Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay,
She
she's
said
going to
she's
be.
out just this time, but the
She's
rest
out just this time, so
just
she'll be
yeah.
she'll be back with us next time. Okay, so let's get started with the program, and then we can let Laura go when we're done. Um, So, this evening, we're supposed to talk about holistic care for cancer patients. Cancer remains one of the leading causes of death worldwide. The well being of cancer patients is determined by how well his or her physical, social and psychological, emotional, and spiritual needs are being met. The use of contemporary and alternative medicine, also called CAMP, has steadily increased, particularly among patients diagnosed with cancer. Contemporary and alternative medicine includes practices that are not typically part of the conventional treatments, such as chemotherapy and radiation. So, camps include therapies such as acupuncture, massage, prayer, diet, and the use of biologic products. Many cancer patients seek out these type of treatments and attempt to moderate their side effects that they receive from chemotherapy or radiation. And there have been numerous of studies that show that Chinese herbal medication is very helpful in helping patients reduce side effects from that chemo and radiation. So, luckily for us, we have Ms. Laura Luttersville, who's an expert and very knowledgeable in holistic care in Chinese medicine. If you've watched the program before, Laura was on about a year ago, and her focus back then was helping us to learn about anti-inflammatory foods that we can eat to decrease anti-inflammation. She gave us a bunch of information, and hopefully you all were able to hear that program. So I'm so glad that she accepted our invitation again to be back to the program. So before we see Laura, who can tell you a little bit about her experience. So Laura is a licensed acupuncturist in the state of Maryland with over 18 years of experience working full-time as an acupuncturist. Over the past 18 years, she has been able to use her skills to help thousands of patients with a variety and different symptoms, from pain management to women's issues, emotional imbalances, allergies, side effects from chemotherapy and radiation, which we'll be talking about this evening, as well as chronic fatigue and many more. Laura has been able to use this ancient medicine in her wisdom, born of years of experience, as well as training with professionals that are considered the best Chinese medicine practitioners worldwide to provide great relief of symptoms management according to her clients. She has also taught graduate acupuncture students at the University of Maryland of Integrative Health and located in Laurel, Maryland. Her main and most important goal is to help others relieve unnecessary pain and suffering and bring back their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. In the past years, she's been teaching yoga. I need to probably sign up for it, as well as meditation and dance. Laura loves her daughter, beautiful daughter, I must say. She's 16 years old, and enjoyed spending time with her dog, Sophie, as well. It is her absolute, absolute commitment to be of service to her clients with this incredible ancient medicine that has been passed along for thousands of years. So let us welcome back our guest, Laura.
Hi.
Good evening, Laura.
Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor for me to share the information, and hopefully I might be able to help a few people. So thank you so much.
Thank you again. And I told Dr. Eddie that we have you for a few, not the entire hour because you have family visiting. So we're gonna just get started with the program. I think my first question to you is if you don't mind explaining the whole concept of holistic care in helping cancer patients.
Yeah, so Western medicine, let's start from Western medicine. I mean, Western medicine really hasn't been the main medicine, but in the last, let's say 400 years. So before then, our human civilization has lived for thousands and thousands of years. And so civilizations have a connection with the planet, unlike now that we're very much disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And they understood the different herbs and the different roots and seeds that could help heal the body, including the emotions too, depending on what the issue was. So, the Western medicine has come, from the Western man, and there's a lot of technological advances that Western medicine has done, but unfortunately, it has also kind of coped the wisdom of our ancestors that were, bringing the knowledge of how to heal our bodies naturally. So, in my world, holistic medicine is real medicine. Is the idea that we are taking care of our bodies, our mind, our spirits, with the wisdom of Mother Earth, and the connection that we have with those plants, and the power that they have to balance our energetic beings. Because in truth, I mean, we are energetic. We are
Mm-hmm.
vibrating constantly, and we're made of energy, basically. And it's a wonderful thing that the Western civilization is realizing that with all of the side effects that people are experiencing from some of the medication, that there is other ways which it was the original way, without harming the body so much. And so um, let me back up in terms of talking specifically about cancer, because cancer has been a thing that I've been doing in the last 7 years, kind of separate from the acupuncture, because I went and I became a holistic cancer practitioner. That was about 4 years ago, but because I was helping a lot of people with cancer, and I wanted to have a certification so I can actually, legally help them. So I did get a certification as a holistic cancer practitioner from the Edison Institute of Nutrition in Canada, and that was about 4 years ago. So what I can do with acupuncture and cancer, so it's two separate things, what I can do with acupuncture and cancer within the scope of my license is really helping people with side effects, like nausea, hot flashes and night sweats, chronic fatigue.
Some have diarrhea as well, and
bowel movements, like metabolic issues. So with acupuncture, that's really what I can help with. And also, it has extended the life of people, the lifespan, if they get acupuncture while they're getting the chemotherapy. I've had a patient, this is many years ago, and she had a very, very severe tumor in her brain. I think it was glioblastoma. I can't remember, but I think it was. And the doctor gave her 6 months to live. And at the time, I really didn't have a lot of knowledge outside of my acupuncture scope of practice of how to help her. So I really just help her with acupuncture. And she ended up living for 5 years, and she was the longest patient alive with that type of cancer that was able to survive. It was a cancer that is almost impossible to kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it can, it can definitely expand the time, the lifetime. Now, when it comes to cancer, my story is this: about 7 years ago, I started learning from one of my teachers. She's from Canada, and she was helping people with cancer with their diet and their supplementation, whether they were on chemotherapy or they were not on chemotherapy. She would help them. Her background was, she was a doctor, but she was doing holistic medicine basically. And sorry, that's my
That's
dog.
okay.
And so I started learning from her, and it was fascinating because she was combining certain foods and supplementation depending on what type of treatment they were on. So if and depending on the chemotherapy, because she knew the molecular compounds of the chemo and some of the herbs and supplements that are supposed to be anti-cancer, like literally get rid of the cancer. They're a similar organic form of the inorganic form of the chemotherapy, and a lot of people don't know what to take because, they might think matcha tea is good for them, and the molecular compound in the matcha tea is matching the molecular compound in the chemotherapy, so they're actually doubling the chemotherapy.
Right. You can have contraindications by having
Yeah,
more
so
than the same thing. Yeah.
it can be a disaster.
Yeah.
So I started learning how to help people when they were in specific, whether they were in Xeloda, there was like 300 different chemos or maybe more. Depending on the molecular compound, I would help them design a protocol that would complement the chemo, but it wouldn't match the chemo.
Okay.
It would complement it with the things that they weren't getting. So it was a very comprehensive type of protocol.
So what type of supplements were you recommending?
So the very common ones, I'm going to start naming some, and I'm going to start naming them slow so people can take notes. So the most common ones I'm going to name now. The first one is black seed oil. And usually the protocol, it depends on the person, and that's what I can help with, but it's usually between 1 and 2 tablespoons a day of black seed oil. The other one is curcumin, 95%, and with black pepper. It has to be with black pepper for the curcumin to be activated. And I think that likely the Western world is seeing the benefits of curcumin, and I think they're adding, like some doctors are understanding how powerful curcumin is. Very anti-cancer, very, very. Garlic, and the way to eat the garlic. And by the way, these herbs and spices and oils can also work as a preventative. So it's not just about killing the cancer. In my humble opinion, everybody should be on these herbs because cancer is so common that it's very easy to have it. You work in the cancer, so prevention is everything. And in my opinion, people have to take this supplementation. When they come to me, I can help them how to take them because sometimes these supplements can bring side effects. So, it's not something that you take forever. We keep switching them around. But I'm going to continue to name garlic. Now, how to eat the garlic is very important because in order for the garlic to work and to kill the cancer cells, it has to be eaten in a very specific way. So the way you eat the garlic is 1 clove of garlic. You cut it in small pieces, and you wait 15 minutes. There is a substance called ethylene in the garlic. That's what kills the cancer. So you have to wait 15 minutes for it to settle, and then you eat the garlic in a period of 15 minutes. So you have 15 minutes to eat it before the ethylene kind of takes its power out, like it stops working.
15 minutes or 50 minutes?
15.
15.
So no more than 30 minutes, basically. So you let it sit for 15 minutes, and then you have 15 minutes to eat it, to use it as medicine. That's real, garlic becomes medicine versus food. Of course, lemon is wonderful, especially for this area. If anybody has, cancer in this area, it's
Throat. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about turmeric?
So turmeric, curcumin is a derivative of turmeric. Turmeric is good for like a immune system kind of root that it
Okay.
helps with the immune system a lot. It's wonderful, but for cancer, you want to take the pure curcumin. So there's only 3 to 5% of curcumin in turmeric. So they learn how to extract the curcumin from the turmeric.
Okay.
The person has to take 95% curcumin for the
Okay.
cancer. Now, turmeric is wonderful for digestion, for increasing the immune system, for preventing, getting a cold, a flu, things like that. It can really help. So it can help keep the immune system up, basically. But for cancer, curcumin. Let's see, ginger, that's another one. So you can do ginger powder, but it's not as
Yeah.
powerful because it's not as active. So just
As
get
the root itself. Yeah.
just get their ginger root, and you can either grind it and eat it on a smoothie. And the dose is 1 tablespoon of
Okay.
ginger. It's a lot. So it's 1 tablespoon of ginger. So you can grind it, you can put it on a smoothie, you can eat it on a salad. It doesn't matter. But you eat that and you take that once a day.
Now, could you mix them? So, for example, like ginger and lemon or
Well,
something like
yes,
that? Okay.
yes, but some of these substances are very, very strong, so it can upset the stomach. If a person has stomach issues, they have to be careful, especially with cancer, because a lot of people have gotten treatments already, and they, messed up the digestive tract, so they have to be careful. One thing that they can do to prevent acid reflux or ulcers or stomach upset or things like that is to take an herb called slippery elm balm. So if they're
Okay.
taking those supplements and they're starting to get upset stomach, they should start taking slippery elm balm, and that's going to help to coat the digestion. Also, pancreatic enzymes are going to be necessary because these substances are so strong. They kill a lot of things, but the problem is that they can damage some of the tissue because
Right.
they're
It's very powerful to scrape.
yeah. So we have to coat, make sure that the digestive tract is coated, that the people are taking pancreatic enzymes so the digestion is normal. All right, let me keep going. Matcha tea. Matcha tea, very anti-cancer. You get it in powder. Now, let me back up for a second. These supplementations, and again, if any of you are on any type of chemotherapy, you have to be very careful because some of this supplementation is going to add to the chemo, and it's going to be too much.
Right.
And so
and they need to also talk to their doctors, their oncologists, to make sure that's okay for them to actually
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, if they want to come to me, I'm happy to help them. If I need to know the type of chemo they're on, and then I can help them design the protocol. But just by yourself, you got to be careful. You got to ask your doctor for sure. Yeah.
I have a question about black seed oil, though. Like, how would you recommend? So, like, I take black seed oil, but we put it, my husband and I, we put it in our tea to drink it. So, do that person mix it with something, or do they need to just kind of take it?
If you can drink it in the tea, that's great. I can't drink it in a tea because I won't enjoy my tea. So
it's a little bitter.
It's a little. It has like a septic kind of taste, like an antiseptic. So I just take the tablespoon and get it over with. Sometimes, I make sure I have a little bit of food because black seed oil can be pretty strong, and sometimes it can upset people's stomach. So you can take it however you want. Now, some of these supplementation are natural stimulants. So you don't want to take, for example, curcumin at night. It's going to keep you awake. So you want to take it in the morning or in the afternoon. Black seed oil is also a stimulant, so it might keep you from sleeping. So you want to take it in the morning. And some of them are stimulants, some of them are sedatives. So some of them you take them at night, and others you take it in the morning or or during the day. So it doesn't disrupt your sleep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me think more. Ginger, matcha tea. The powder is the best. Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. Now,
Yes.
chlorophyll, I've seen chlorophyll in vitamins. Do you think that's sufficient, or you gotta take? Okay.
It just kind of lose some of the active ingredients in it. No, I would highly recommend to get the liquid, because you're not going to get the same effect.
Okay.
So the liquid chlorophyll, that's very anti-cancer. Iodine, oh my gosh, iodine. Especially with breast cancer and calcifications, because iodine helps to burn calcifications basically, and every tumor has a calcium component in them. So it helps them to reduce them, it burns them. So iodine, very important. Every single person that is on cancer treatment that are not doing chemotherapy are doing iodine for sure.
Okay.
And there is so many that out of my head, those are the ones that I can think that are used for cancer every single time. For people that are on chemotherapy, depending on the chemotherapy that they are, that protocol is going to be tweaked. For people that are not in chemotherapy, most likely they're going to be in all of them, and other supplementation too. The other thing is the diet. That's very, very important. We don't want to feed the cancer cells. So there is some substance that will feed the cancer cells, and we have to avoid it. And in my humble opinion, this diet should be for everybody, because it's also preventative. We all have kind of like, cancer cells flying around the body, and the body's able to like chew them up and kill them. But we don't want to play with fire, basically. And the ingredients to avoid is all wheat, gluten, all the dairy products are a no-no. Sugar, fruit is okay. No sugar, no red meat, no pork. So
that's going to be a problem. Majority of our audience,
I'm so sorry. I know.
including myself.
I know. With diet, there is such a cultural component. I totally get it. And there is also an emotional component. So, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. The good news is that all of the things can be replaced. You can replace, the meat, the red meat, and the pork. And this is if somebody has active cancer. I would highly recommend to be off those things regardless, because they're just dangerous for them. And because of the cultural component, if you don't have cancer, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Especially wheat products. It's so hard to give up bread.
Yeah.
You can give up like white bread versus wheat or grains, different grains, multi-grains, but to kind of cut it all off, especially me.
We have to remember too that they put additives in the food that makes us addicted to them. So a big part of it is we get physiologically addicted to those things, and the body starts asking for them. They put those chemicals that makes it addicted. So you're gonna go through a detox period of a couple of weeks. If you're eating bread every day, or if you're eating red meat every day, or if you're doing
white rice every day.
Of white rice every day, yes, because that turns into glucose. It's not good. I recommend brown rice. If you guys can switch to brown rice, it's much more gentle than the white rice.
How about spicy foods?
It depends. And spices in general, they're incredibly benevolent. They've been used as medicine for thousands of years. Curcumin is a spice. Pepper is a spice, and it's very anti-cancer. Black pepper especially. So the problem comes with spices is, number one, is when we start mixing with things that are not good for us. And number two, if we have stomach issues, or an allergy reaction to them. Like some people have allergies to spices, and that can happen. And also if a person has stomach issues, because again, they're so good at scraping things that don't need to be there, that it can make, if you have an ulcer, it can make the ulcer worse. And those are why people get, they can't eat spicy food sometimes. But the issue is not the spice, is everything else that they're eating that is creating the ulcer, and the spice is just letting them know, because the spice is going to scrape things out, and they're going to feel that that upset.
So, a question about tomatoes. A lot of our food bases, like, we have a lot of tomatoes in our foods. So, would the acidic be an issue?
It really depends on the person, on your blood type. It really depends. Tomatoes, is like eggplants, is something that some people can tolerate it and some people can. And I always go to the same thing. Our bodies are very wise, and we have an internal GPS that let us know if something is not good for us. So if you start having any type of reaction with tomatoes, that means it's not good for you. So it really depends on the person. Some people do just fine and they're wonderful, because tomatoes are full of oxygen, especially tomatoes. Very, very good if a person can eat them. But for some people, it's just not a food that is going to go with their blood type,
Okay, and about fish. Will fatty fish be a good source of
As long
protein
as,
to have?
yeah, it can, yes. As long as it's not high in mercury, you have to, you can go on the internet and find out the fishes that are high in mercury. Those are awful. And like tuna, mercury is one of the most poisonous substances in the human body, and we get sick very quickly. So as long as it doesn't have mercury, and as long as people are not allergic to it, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm personally very wary about the whole plant-based proteins. If it's black beans that they've used to make a burger or something like that, I'm all for it. But there's some things, and especially including tofu or soy products. Are those good for cancer patients as well, or?
Okay, so we got to pick, especially the soy, we got to pick it apart. It's not that simple. So no, for cancer patients, they should stay away from soy, period. No matter what kind of soy they eat, no. Unless the only time that is okay for them to do two things, either edamame or raw tofu, just those two. The other ones are not good, because the way they chemically alter the molecular compound is going to be awful and detrimental. But if a person is on tamoxifen, or the cancer treatment, is giving them side effects of hot flashes to lower estrogen, basically. If the cancer treatment is to lower estrogen, and the person is having so many side effects that they can't sleep, they're sweating all the time, they can't eat, they're losing too much weight, they're too anxious, then just to calm down the side effects, they can add a little bit of edamame or a little bit of tofu, because it's going to put the good estrogen back just a little bit. I tell my people 3 to 4 times a week, just a handful of edamame. That's the healthiest. Edamame is the healthiest form of soy that you can have. Soy milk is terrible, so it's a no. Raw tofu is very forgiving in the body, so it's okay. But any type of ultra, like Beyond Burger or Beyond Meat or something, things when they're trying to mix things together with chemicals, it's a no. So yeah.
Okay, let me see if we have questions before we keep carrying on. Eddie, do we have any questions from the viewers? Dr. Eddie. He's probably checking. I know some people were texting him as well. But I have a question in terms of Indian medicine versus Chinese medicine. Could you incorporate both of them, or what is really the big difference between the two of them?
They're just two different regions, so they have slightly different herbs.
Okay.
And the things that grow in India are a little bit different than the things that grow in China. So the Ayurvedic doctors, which are the ones that do Indian medicine, they learn from their ancestors and their families how to heal their bodies. through their ancestral knowledge, because the herbs that were in the region, that's what they use. And Chinese is the Chinese herbs and plants and seeds that were around the area. So that's the only difference, is the difference in herbs, just because they're two different regions.
Okay. And I read that Ayurvedic massage is also very good in terms of cancer patients and alleviating any type of side effects. I'm not sure how true that is, but
yeah, I've never gone Ayurvedic massage. It sounds wonderful. I'm sure it helps, but Ayurvedic medicine is very ancient and it's very wise, so I'm sure it can help. Yeah.
oh, he's back. You're muted, Dr. Eddie.
So a question came as does sunlight helps in cancer prevention or treatment?
So they're asking whether sunlight helps with cancer prevention.
The sunlight?
Yeah.
So cancer prevention, yes. Actually, yes. It's not that the sunlight causes cancer. A lot of people have this misunderstanding. We do need vitamin D3. It's absolutely essential. The cancer happens for two reasons. We're lacking the ozone a lot, like in the atmosphere. So some of the rays that are not healthy for our body are coming through too. So we can get cancer that way. Or if the skin is damaged, if the skin is damaged, then there is a higher risk of cancer. But absolutely, the places that are warmer, the places like the islands, people have much less cancer than places that are cold. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so how long do you recommend someone stays in the sunlight in a day?
15 to 20 minutes a day, no more. You don't want to have too much, because that can damage. And if you have any damaged skin, that can be a problem. 15 to 20 minutes a day.
And is it the morning sunlight or the afternoon sunlight?
They're very specific.
The sun is always happy. The sun is always the same. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Whatever is more comfortable for the person. If it's a very warm place where the sunlight is just burning their skin, their bodies are going to know. So it's just 5 minutes and they need just 5 minutes. And when they start burning up, they need to go, depending on the region too. But the time doesn't matter.
And do you recommend enough sleep or excessive sleep for a cancer patient?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's one of the key points for a cancer patient to recover. If they don't sleep well, they're going to have less chances to survive. It's that simple. So we need at least 7 to 8 hours a night to sleep. That's the human body, what we need. And because of the chemotherapies that sometimes they go through, they have a hard time sleeping. And it's very important for them to find natural ways. There is herbs and supplementation they can take. But yes, it's an absolutely, one of the most important things for cancer patients is sleep. It's when the body heals, actually. So without sleep, it's going to be very hard. The things that they can take for sleep that can help naturally is magnesium. They can take 400 milligrams of magnesium. It's very relaxing. They also something called, comes from the Ayurvedic medicine. It's called holy basil.
Okay.
They can take holy basil for sleep. I tell my clients to take 3 to 4 capsules a night, and that can help too. There is something that you can buy on the internet and Amazon. It's called Dream Water, and it has GABA, tryptophan, and GABA, tryptophan, and melatonin, and it's wonderful. They did a good job. It really does work. So, yeah, but you have to get sleep. That's a must.
Could they take melatonin alone too, or?
Yeah. For some people, it's just not strong enough. And actually, melatonin is another anti-cancer component that a lot of holistic practitioners are using too. So melatonin in low doses, not in high doses. In low doses, it's very anti-cancer.
Okay. So I read that ginseng is also anti-cancer herb.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I forgot to mention ginseng. That's a Chinese substance, Chinese root. Yeah, yeah. So ginseng, it kind of works like matcha. It's a natural stimulant, so you have to take it in the morning. Especially for hormone-driven cancers, are wonderful. So we have to think about the molecular compound of each herb, because it depends on the cancer whether or not it's going to work. So, it's going to be different for somebody that has lung cancer than somebody that has cervical cancer. So, but ginseng is wonderful. Yes.
Okay. So I know that a lot of folks now are doing yoga for different purposes.
Yeah.
It's also been recommended for cancer patients to do yoga. Do you have any information on that, since you teach yoga as well?
Yeah. So let me share a little bit about the emotional piece when it comes to cancer. As you know, it's pretty hard for people.
Yeah.
So between the chemotherapy and the diagnosis and the lifetime change, and just so much changes when somebody gets diagnosed with cancer, that the first thing that happens for many people is anxiety and depression and anger and frustration, and they feel stuck, and they're not sure where to go or what to do. They don't know who to listen to. They might just listen to 10 different people, and they're telling them 10 different things, and they just say yes to everything, and then they regret it, and then they get worse. So I've seen this. That's why I'm sharing it, because it's real. That's what happens. And the most important thing with yoga is to get in touch with who you are, to get in touch with your inner guidance, with your inner GPS guidance, and to open all the chakras. Because once that happens, number one, it's not just about anxiety or whatever emotional state you are, it's about listening to your inner guide. So to your inner doctor, your inner teacher, your inner everything. And so when people come and tell you, what about this? What about this? You're going to understand better when to say yes, when to say no, what to take, what not to take, because you're going to have, a much more clear understanding what's really going on, because you're going to be in touch with your inner guidance. So that's the main thing with yoga, especially with people with cancer, to bring their power back, to give their power back, and not to give their power away to every doctor, every person, every acupuncturist, every whoever, but to just be in touch with their original self, with who they are, so they can make the wisest choices for themselves. So they become their own inner doctors too. And then, of course, the physical benefits. I mean, there's multiple benefits, but that's the most important when it comes to cancer, because they want to survive and they want to listen to their inner guidance. That's what's going to be the most important thing. And also, just by default of stretching your body in certain positions, you're letting the blood flow move, and the fluids move. And for cancer, that is an absolute must. People have to stretch. They have to stretch their channels. They have to let the blood and the fluids move through the body. So it helps for the ability of the body to heal itself a lot easier. Exercise is also very important. If the person is not very weak, if they can still walk, they need to walk. If they can still move, they need to move, because that's going to be part of their cancer protocol. Yeah.
Okay. So what would the frequency be? So would somebody do yoga daily, or be once a week, or daily?
Now, there is a practice called Qigong, and this one of my my teachers, my cancer teachers, that was an acupuncturist. This is from the acupuncture world that I learned this in one of my continuing education classes, that there is a type of Qigong that you can do. It's an energy exercise where you just kind of work with the energy around your body. And there is a type of using your breath and your body and the movements that actually, especially with lung cancer, that actually have helped people heal themselves completely, like gone. Yeah. And that's called Qigong, but they have to do it 4 or 5 hours a day until the cancer is gone. It's like really long practices. And, the Western world is not up for that. So, but when it comes to life or death, some people are just willing to do anything. And it really can take the cancer out. Yeah.
Yeah. So you and I had spoken about the war and what's going on and what to do in a time of turbulence. And you wanted to give some suggestions about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
It's very depressing to watch the TV,
It's very sad to see our human race,
Yeah.
suffering that way. It's heartbreaking. It really is. So we have, it's what it is. So how can we support ourselves and each other throughout this time? Is make sure you breathe. That's the first thing. Focus on your breathing. The breath, a lot of spiritual traditions, and I believe probably possibly in your religion too, is the connection with God. Our breath is the connection with God. So when we want to ask for guidance, when we want to understand what's going on or how to be in certain situations, just take deep breaths and breathe through the nose. It's through the nose, not through the mouth. And then exhale through the mouth. And then you can count your breathing. And the longer it goes, the better it is. So you can start counting your breath. And then, today might be 5 breaths. And then tomorrow might be 7. You count up to 7. And the day after tomorrow, you can count until 10. That's very good. So that's the first thing, just focus on your breathing, because that's your connection with your God and your divine self. And we need this more than ever. So that's the first thing. The second, in my humble opinion, don't watch the media. I mean,
it's so hard. I'm trying. I've been good.
It's horrible. And, just get informed of the basic things, but don't get caught up in the craziness, because it will make you sick. I mean, what's going on is horrific. So we can we can poof butterflies and rainbows. Is horrific. So don't watch the media, or as little as possible, and focus on your family and your loved ones, and focus on your well-being. Not that you're going to get sick, or, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are we going to get this? Are we going to get that? Don't focus on that, because there's nothing we can do. We're right in the middle, like a sandwich. Basically, we're just innocent people that are just right in the middle of this crazy people killing each other. Just insane.
Yeah.
So, just take care of your family, and be strong and be positive, be healthy, think of good things. Remember good memories about your life and what really matters to you, and lift the vibration of planet Earth. Right now is so low. So focus on love. The vibration of love is a real vibration. It's very, very strong, and it has power. I believe Jesus or God said love is always the best, antidote for everything.
Best response for everything is to show each other love.
Yes, and to show ourselves and each other. So practice that, because that is the best antidote. If you notice that you're anxious, just meditate. Get yourself still for 5 to 10 minutes. Put some nice music. Let your guides and your angels, or whoever you believe that they're protecting you, to be there with you. And always, one thing I tell my clients, not all the time, I don't know if I told you this, put a golden light around you. Just imagine a golden light around you that is surrounding every cell of your being, and nothing can penetrate you. Everywhere you go, because right now humans are just more violent. They're not thinking right. A lot of people, they're just there is
a lot of anger
and cognitive dissonance, where our human body cannot understand what's going on, so people are acting out. So make sure, where you go to the store, or you go to the doctor, especially a doctor, or you go anywhere, just put a golden light around you that is protecting you, and your angels around you. And make sure that you do that every time you go out. And so that's very important. And take care of your bodies. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself very well right now. Pray, meditate, thank your God and your Lord for us, being okay so far, and to help us go through this time, and be a vessel of love, because that's what we need. We need the energy of love. I mean, right now, that's desperately needed in planet Earth. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I forgot to ask you in terms of all the herbs that you mentioned, what would be the best place for people to purchase those herbs from?
I don't want to say Amazon because you know, 'cause Amazon is it has coped everything, but you know, I have to say because it's the truth. I don't lie. So yeah, you
Yeah.
can get it on Amazon, but you can also get it in Whole Foods. You can get it at Mom's Natural Food Store if you live in Maryland. In my humble opinion, support your local natural food stores because they're really trying their best, and that's where I would get it from. But you can get it in Whole Foods or your local natural food store.
Okay.
You're gonna
I think
have
the
herbs.
last thing we didn't touch on was fruits. What type of fruits would you recommend?
For cancer
Yeah,
patients,
for cancer patients.
the two fruits that cancer patients have to be careful. The
Mm-hmm.
main two fruits are bananas and grapes because the sugar is so high. Even though if their diet is clean, if they're not eating bread and if they're not eating other things that are not good, if they're just they're eating perfectly fine, the exact diet that they need to eat, and they eat one banana a day, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. But
Okay.
but if just to be on the cautious side, no bananas, no grapes, basically, and in moderation, the tropical fruits, very much in moderation, like papaya and pineapple and mango, because they're very high in sugar.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are very anti-cancer are all the berries. The berries are all very anti-cancer. In fact, they're part of the protocol, especially the
There's the blackberries and
and
raspberry.
there's blueberries, raspberries, and there is another one, pomegranate, which is not a
Yeah.
berry, but it's also a very anti-cancer fruit. The pomegranate, the
Mhm.
seeds of the pomegranate are very anti-cancer. And there is another one I can't come up with. There is two fruits that are used very much for cancer in places like Jamaica. Soursop or
Mhm.
graviola is used for cancer.
Yeah. I
And
think
it's
we call salsa pear.
pear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very anti-cancer. That's actually part of the protocol. Also, pawpaw, the seeds of
Mhm.
pawpaw, they're
Mhm.
very anti-cancer too.
Mhm.
Mimosa pudica, very anti-cancer. Another herb that they can take, Mimosa pudica.
Mhm.
Boron, very anti-cancer. There is more.
Mhm. The pawpaw seeds, I used to blend it and add it to my smoothies. But I
Yes,
also heard that you can't have too much of it.
you too much seeds, and thank you for bringing that. Too many seeds of anything, it can become toxic, like papaya seeds or
Mm.
apple seeds. We have to be careful. There is some substances that they can be harmful for the liver if we take too much,
Mhm.
so we have to be careful. But in the right dose, no, it's fine. Yeah, like
Okay.
they're saying that if people are eating too many of them, it's the
Okay.
quantity that makes the difference.
Okay. Let
Yeah.
me see. Dr. Eddie, do we have more questions for Laura before we let her go?
No, there are no questions.
There's
I
none.
just wanted to show the audience a picture of salsa, so maybe it will come up soon.
Yeah, we
Yes.
call it pear, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what we
if you
call it?
say
Because I
if
know
you
my
say
grandmother had one.
yeah, if you say pear, your mind goes to like the normal avocados and
Oh no.
yeah. So that
Yeah,
is why I
you're
wanted
right.
to show them. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it has the big seeds and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It will come up shortly. Let me see if I can
Okay.
get one.
Okay. Well, Laura,
Papaya seed. Sorry, papaya seeds also very anti-cancer, but it's the same as pawpaw. You have to be careful how much you take because they can be toxic, but they're very, very anti-cancer if you eat them in the right way. But you have to know how to eat them. It's usually half a teaspoon, um, either 3 times a week, or you do it for 10 days and then you rest. Otherwise, it's too
Mhm.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, I read somewhere it was like once a week. So, but unfortunately, when I started, I was doing it daily until I read that. I was like, "Ooh, I thought this was supposed to be good for us." But yeah, so I definitely don't do that anymore. And the question about the spicy food. So, the spicy I was talking about more about pepper. Like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. See, God has provided with everything.
So yeah, this you can find at the kind of like the Asian stores, like the food markets and
Yeah.
um,
And Whole Foods, I think
no
they
food.
have it. Whole Foods have it. Yeah.
Okay. So that the spicy food I was thinking about was red pepper, because we eat a lot of red pepper.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Okay.
great. It's in the pepper family, so it's very anti-cancer. It's right next to the black pepper. So yeah.
Okay.
If you don't have issues, if you don't have ulcers or stomach issues, definitely yes, it's wonderful.
Okay. Okay. Well, Eddie, I don't know if you have more questions, but if not, then we can let
Let me
Laura
see.
go.
A question just came in.
Mhm.
Okay, let me proofread it before. Okay, so it reads.
Okay. Okay, sure. So I was diagnosed of cancer in 2016, and I have tried all I can to get cured, but all to no avail until I saw a post in Health Forum about a herbalist man who prepared herbal medication to cure all kinds of diseases, including cancer. At first, I doubted if it was real, but decided to give it a try. When I contact this herbalist via his email, and he prepared a cancer herbal cure and sent it to me via UPS delivery company service. When I received this herbal cure, he gave me step by step directions on it. I would love to hear whether, if you don't mind letting us know, Ms. Pretty, if whatever they told you to do is working, based on what your doctors are saying. So if you had a CAT scan or any type of scans that show that your cancer is getting less, or whichever cancer you had, that'd be great to know. But
Yeah,
sounds like at least one person is
but then
using herbalist. Mhm.
I wouldn't want us to focus more on it because the person is talking about herbal or
Mm-hmm.
herbal
Herbalist, yeah.
practitioners. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in our instance, we are talking about natural supplement
Mm-hmm.
and the other natural stuff that we can do, uh, or one can do as as a cancer patient or
Mm-hmm.
as a preventative measure
Mm-hmm.
for cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm going to say about that, in my personal experience, is that number one, depending on the cancer that the person has, so
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I tell them is to buy a book called How to Starve Cancer Without Starving Yourself by Jane McClellan. She gives metro maps for each cancer. So, and she does a great job. It's a best-selling book, and she's doing it a little bit different with repurposing drugs, but it's working for a lot of people. So the first thing is what kind of cancer, because every type of cancer has different cancer pathways. So I
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing. I assume that the herbalist knew the exact cancer that you had, based on that. And so he gave you a specific formula for you. The diet is very important. You can't eat bread, pasta, eggs, and eat a formula and think you're going to cure. No, especially if it's organic. You must eat clean. It's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
To survive the cancer, you have to. Of course, miracles happen and, all of that. But yeah, that would be my suggestion, to get how to starve cancer without starving yourself. And there is another book I want to share. It's a friend of mine is as a cancer survivor. It's called Starving Cancer. No, Killing Cancer with Spices. Killing Cancer with Spices by James McGraw, McGraw. And he did the black seed oil, the garlic, the curcumin, the black pepper, and the ginger. He killed a glioblastoma with those 5 spices. And he's been alive. He's been cancer free since 2014, I believe. And he did the chemotherapy, but he was sent home to die. He only
Mm-hmm.
had like 2 or 3 months, and then he
Mm-hmm.
started researching, and now he's still alive with us. So
Okay.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
we're glad that the guest, that the viewer, is alive and doing well, and we certainly wish you the best. If you need to talk to Laura, certainly
yeah,
contact
yeah,
us, and we can.
yeah. My
Um,
webs. Yeah, you can give them my website or my phone number. I'm
right.
happy to
They
be
can
on.
even actually Google your name, and it comes up.
Yeah.
They can Google your name too, and it comes up. So, so you two can chat if she has additional questions. But Laura, thank you so much. We don't have any more questions, right,
No, there are
Eddie?
no more questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Laura.
Yes.
This has been certainly wonderful to talk to you about this particular subject. And I'm certainly hopeful that our members, gain a lot and a better understanding about Chinese medicine and how they can incorporate it in dealing with.
Yeah.
Um,
And the most important thing that if I can say one
Sure.
thing again, out of all of this, it's just really, we have to practice love. We have to practice the energy of love. We have to lift our vibration. We have to be the healers. We all have that power within. Each and every one of us have that. We have to activate it. So we can't be fearful, worry, anxious. It's not going to help. So we have to shift the energy of the planet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you. Thank you again.
You.
Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon, especially since I keep watching the news. I would need some stress relief by coming to you. But thank you. Thank you again for your time. And we certainly appreciate you coming back onto
Oh,
the program.
sorry.
Uh-oh.
So
Okay, Eddie.
Maryland acupuncturist accepts insurance.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
we do.
Thank you. You can continue
you.
thanking her.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. I'm going to say goodbye because she has to go. But thank you. Thank you
guys.
so much. All right. Speak to
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Yes.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay,
All right.
this was great. I know we only have like 2 minutes to wrap up, but
Mhm.
it was certainly a great discussion. And hopefully everyone watching, learn a thing or two about Chinese medicine and holistic medicine and holistic care for not necessarily just cancer patients, but pretty much for all of us, and what we can do to better our lifestyles here. So Dr. Eddie and I will be back again with hopefully Dr. Yvonne would join us as well. And as always, if you have any questions regarding the program or what topics you want us to cover, if you have any guests that you want to recommend for them to appear in the program, you can contact us at emcyourandyourhealth@gmail.com. Again, that's emcyourandyourhealth@gmail.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this program, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye.